Welcome to your future 21C. Okay, we have something first I have to share with you guys. The COVID-19 has a new strand for children. Yes, a new virus for children which has been said that it derives itself from the COVID-19 and is dangerous for kids. So those of you who love your kids, because I do love kids so much, and I love your own kid. If you don't love your kid, come and give me. I love. If you don't have food, we'll drink water.
How can you say this?
Yes, protect them. It's very, very dangerous, and it's painful for those parents who know how to take care of their kids. I know you two, you do, but sometimes, just in short, just watch this video and you understand.
The CDC is now asking doctors to report cases of pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome. It's a way of getting a handle on this new illness nationwide.
Fever, abdominal pain, and rash seem to be the presenting symptoms.
What can you tell parents to reassure them that this isn't going to explode the same way that coronavirus did?
While it is a very serious illness, it is also very rare.
Across the country, nearly 200 children are suspected of having the mysterious illness. 87% of the cases in New York tested positive for either the virus or for antibodies, which indicates past infection. While the chances of your child getting the inflammatory syndrome are rare, no parent wants to watch this.
The way she was breathing, it was hard. I just wanted to be next to her.
Shivali Rodriguez's 3-year-old daughter, Alani, was exposed to COVID. Her mother tested positive in March. Alani had a fever, was dehydrated, and had low blood pressure. She was treated with IV fluids for 4 days in the ICU at a hospital in New Jersey. Alani is thankfully back home, doing what she loves, dancing.
The President Donald Trump of the United States of America. We don't know how the situation with China and America's relationship is going to end. But Trump has refused talking to Xi Jinping.
We will be going to Camp David. We have a lot of meetings scheduled. I think they'll be very successful meetings. We're getting a lot of gear out. We're getting a lot of gowns out, protective equipment, and the governors have all been very thankful. We received a lot of calls today from governors. They're very thankful for the job we're doing. That's good. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, what's the topic of the discussion at Camp David this weekend?
Go ahead.
What's the topic of the discussion at Camp David this weekend?
So we have a lot of discussions going on at Camp David, some military and some other than military. We'll probably report back on it on Monday.
Mr.
Just don't want to talk to him right now. We'll see what happens over the next little while. They're buying a lot of our material. They're spending a lot on the trade deal, but the trade deal, I don't know, somehow I lost a little flavor for it. You can understand. Go ahead. We're sending a lot of ventilators to India. I spoke to Prime Minister Modi, and we're sending quite a few ventilators to India. We have a tremendous supply of ventilators.
Mr. President? Mr. President, right here. Mr. President? Mr. President, what do you make of the images of people with guns, weapons showing up at the Michigan Capitol?
Say it?
What do you make of the images of people with weapons showing up at the Michigan Capitol to protest? Are you okay with that?
I haven't seen it. You'll have to tell me. Yeah, go ahead.
Should a vaccine be free?
We're looking at that actually, but we're making a lot of progress on vaccines. But we'll be speaking to you very soon, and I think we're going to have a very good couple of meetings at Camp David. Thank you.
One more question. Who do you think should go to jail for Obamacare?
Brief answers, and he was finding his way to his helicopter. They want to go and take off. Let's go down to the United Kingdom with the updates of the coronavirus. The coronavirus is something that the United Kingdom has not been treating it lightly. The British people, they are so straightforward. They are straight like a ruler.
Street for the daily coronavirus briefing. I'm joined by the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Jenny Harries, and by NHS England's Medical Director for Primary Care, Dr. Nikki Kanani. First, I want to take this chance to update you on the latest coronavirus data. 2,353,078 tests for coronavirus have now been carried out in the UK, including 133,784 tests yesterday.
I bet!
236,711 people have tested positive for the virus, an increase of 3,560 since yesterday. 10,024 people are currently in hospital with coronavirus. This is a 13% fall from the same time last week. And very sadly, of those who've tested positive across all settings, 33,998 people have now died. That's an increase of 384 since yesterday, and we mourn each one.
You know, when we touch parts, we must touch Africa because it's the biggest part in the world with the most important information. You know, the mother of humanity or the father of humanity. Yeah, but then things are happening there that are really crazy. Yeah, I want to warn everyone or plead to every one of you who are supporting the medical teams back in Africa before you give anything. Please explain to them very well, being it in vernacular. Tell them how to use it. If not, you will give a medical support that will help to even cure the patients. Just watch this video, then you will understand the statements that I'm making here.
Don't worry about it. Tori ba ro yo pada. Why don't sleep well?
In Cameroon, we have seen a group of a family living in the bush. Over the past 4 years, there are thousands of people living in bushes. Yeah, but people now, they are living in the bush to see how they can survive, make life better in the future. And the government is still claiming that things are fine. I say lies, things are not fine in Cameroon. Nothing is fine in that country. No matter what the government is doing to convince the international world that things are okay, they are doing everything. All those things that Tango is playing those games with, they are all camouflaging. Let's stop playing with those African leaders, man. Those people are demons. People who don't care for their own people. See how people are living in the bushes, suffering.
You can see we have a house that we build in Sapling. This oven that we used to dry our cocoa. There's drum. The drum that used to fetch our water. When rain's falling, it's falling in the inside of the drum. That's new sedu is coming. You can see this called Nyambot environment. This environment, we are living in Nyambot's farm. That's how we live with other people that run a war and we meet. Yes, that's Mr. Nyambot coming.
Anyway, let's go to Benin and we see what is happening with the female journalists who are being sexually harassed.
Women journalists in Benin say they are subjected to widespread harassment in the country's media industry, provoking a lively debate that has reached the highest echelons of powers in the week leading up to municipal election.
How can you say this?
It all began with a social media post early in May in which Angeline Kepeja, a journalist with Benin's national television station ORTB, said that sexual harassment is still tolerated in the Beninese media.
Don't angry me.
She said, year after year, I have been subjected to this harassment, but this time I thought it was too blatant, and I sought help everywhere in my professional environment. but I didn't get any. I knew in advance that there would be voices crying out to say a lot of things about me, but I told myself that it doesn't matter, it has to stop. Media professionals across the country praise Kipeja's role in shedding light on the issue. President Patrice Talon took notice and stepped into the debate, even meeting with... It's rare to see women denouncing certain facts, especially those related to intimacy, which is peculiar to them, because we are under the cover of patriarchal regime at first, and then we are under the cover of tradition. The Benin's Journalist Union has praised Kipeja's role in speaking out. The union has now set up a legal unit to support journalists like Kipeja who've experienced any form of harassment. She says, if these sisters have come to denounce with their faces uncovered by giving real examples, it is because they have lived through it. They have had time to accumulate, and at that point they have cracked. The head of National Television ORTB has been suspended awaiting court proceedings.
A professor. You know what we talk of a professor? That's a big name, a big position, even more than the minister, because professor is better than people like Atanganji Paul.
What is your problem, Seth?
Look, when you see these English people, the Anglophones, the English-speaking part, the Ambazonians in Cameroon, they are crying and fighting. This is just a tip of an iceberg. Listen to a professor.
Please, sir, I've not yet understood the meaning of kandum. It's no entering, sir. I've not understood it well. Please, can you take it again, sir, please?
I say that kantum is the quantity of good. When you use policy to feed, the quantity of goods is determined. It is defined in advance. Every type of these three of the French policy have their function. In the policy of the thief, the quantity of good is and the route is determined at advance. In the policy to the feed, the quantity of good is not determined. The duration of the contract of the insurance is indefinite. For example, if I want to ship my good to China, I can use the policy on the trip. My good is 1 container. I will travel with to Cameroon to China. That is a route. And the quantity of goods. That is in the premium can also be defined as the amount of money an insurance company charge for insurance coverage.
Politically, honestly, the situation is out.
I will see you next weekend with more updates. But remember one thing.